fence, gate, or sign marks the entrance to the cemetery. Just a moment ago, you weren't surrounded by graves, and now you are. How long have you been stepping on dead folks, fully unaware? A wood board, bleached white. Unknown. The word was painted on black by a steady hand, each letter signed with a flourish. Whoever made this memorial had more compassion than money. The other graves are the same. Unknown. 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 Handwritten, nondescript. You walk for a while, reading every marker in sight, and not once do you find a name.
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna.
You look good, honey. You got a life? You like a good story? I like to hear about people and make bets with them. I like to hear about the weird, handsome people. Get convinced by the rich jackasses who'll play blackjack and lose into the night. Dames who are lit cigarettes burning to the end. I want to be around furious people who use me and I use them. Are you one, stranger? Come close to me. Hey, got any exciting stories? Like the movies? Well, well, they should let you make the movies, honey. The law? I can get by with the law. The law thinks I'm a victim, a sad girl of the streets, a damaged girl, a girl who ain't got no fate and whose daddy didn't love her. My daddy's dead, and all cops are in my pocket, stranger. I will tell you that if I tell you anything. The law is bad for us Roman kids. It does not serve us. But you learn to get that sad, pale girl on. They love that. Sometimes you gotta promise them something more and, well, I don't say it's pleasant, but you born in a body. Sometimes people treat you like you need the power taken from it. Hey, got any exciting stories? Like the movies? Honey, thrills is the stuff I live on. That one will keep me going. A long time ago, I left that little hole I grew up in and started to make my home wherever I was. I don't regret it. I took a pack of cards and hopped on a cargo train, and when it stopped by someone interesting, I'd let them take me to where the law can't see. And you know what's home in this here country? People. No one loves harder and tries harder than these countrymen. And at night when the grasshopper's squeaking, I think they singing something patriotic about trying luck and failing and trying again. Got any stories with ghosts or murderers or blood or something like that? Just what I asked for. That spooky stuff gets my heart going like a good hand sometimes do. I spent a night in jail once, and it were nicer than a prospect of going back to where I was born, you know, just to become what my mom always wanted me to be. When I was 12, she caught me kissing a girl once, and I felt like I would never get out of all the strands of her red-as-hell fury. I said to her, "But you said I ain't to kiss no boys, and I ain't." But she and I both knew that ain't what she meant. Hey, Got any exciting stories? Like the movies? Well, well, they should let you make the movies, honey. Tomorrow's the great gamble. There's a light out there on the horizon, a glow of something golden. There ain't something for all of us out there, but there's that hope. I can tell you're looking for it too. You know, if you stop to look down, there might not be anything below your feet, but you're still moving forward. Got any stories with ghosts or murderers or blood or something like that? Damn, you're giving me the chills, sweetheart. You know, I get cleared out now and then. Like being hit in the stomach, like being slapped up good and proper when you watch the chips move away from you. My portrait's on every good casino's wall, sweetheart, but I always come back like a bad penny. Because I can't lose, and I won't. And I'll take everything you got, and losing ain't shit to me when I can get back up. Next time, let's up the stakes, shall we? Why don't we spend some time with bourbon and 5-card stud? You bring the bourbon, of course. And when the moon's fuller, I might let you in on some secrets on life. Have you any?
Deep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole.
Small for his age, boy of 13 or so, sitting on an upturned bucket by the side of a tiny wedge of farmland. The dog, as though by contrast, is massive, an enormous yellow-brown mutt. He's called Rover, the boy explains.
Pa says he can't come with us west.
You notice the Model A truck on the yard, piled high with furnishings and trunks and bags and knots of rope to tie it all together. And upon all that, too, yet more dust and grit.
Pa says it has to be better.
With one toe tip, he scratches a parabola on the dead, dry ground.
Pa says we can't afford to feed Rover no more.
You can't tell where the blonde of the dog's coat ends and the omnipresent dust begins. Same goes for the boy's hair.
Will you take him?
Rover follows you eagerly after you feed him the tiniest sliver of jerky. But a few hours later, he snaps to attention, as though hearing some distant noise your ears can't catch. The last you see of him are the markings left by his dirty pelt on the leaves of the underbrush. The cave is really a man-made hole breaching into an earthen mound. The man, khakis dirtied by kneeling on the rough earth, has assembled a macabre little pile of skulls to the side.
Readying these for sale, friend.
He wipes his hands on his pants.
This pile of skulls, clearly claimed from his enemies by an Indian chieftain, would be perfect for any cabinet of curiosities or sideshow attraction. Why, these skulls belong to no one. They're just here, lying under this mound, waiting for an enterprising soul to make something of them. Isn't this what America's all about?
Little sunlight reaches that deep in, but you can still see the skeletal remains, their heads carelessly removed, laying neatly in their excavated resting places, each one lovingly surrounded by stone effigies, earthenware, and copper plates in the shape of winged warriors. You pause and consider this small man, greedily arranging someone's remains as though they were a trinket for a mantelpiece. It's crude and ridiculous, but he's a crude and ridiculous man. You have him run off the mound, sworn never to tell of what he's seen, for fear of monsters and ghosts. It's a small thing, but a kindness you hope.
Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. When the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale.
Electric lamps stipple the cotton field before you with an orange light, moving like a group of lethargic fireflies. From the field, the voices of the workers reach you in a soulful, united song. You're gently lulled to sleep as the song floats over you. Hello, Lordy, pick a bale of cotton. Hello, Lordy, pick a bale a day. You're pulled out of your slumber by a woman's pained scream and a collection of shouts rising from the field. Your curiosity is overcome by the necessity of rest, and you force your eyes closed. You know you had a dream, but you don't remember what. You get up as the workers' song rises above the field with the sun.
Scrawl my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna
A sign in town says a farmer is hiring for the sugarcane harvest. A bag-eyed man drives you and 10 hungry strangers out into the cane, where he leaves you. Everyone gets a hatchet, but no instruction. The foreman is missing for some reason. Nobody is sure what to do. A young man in a red jacket stuffs all the hatchets in his pack.
This is stupid, he says. I'm leaving. You can get $5 for a nice axe like this.
He marches off into the cane and others follow.
Don't!
A young woman shouts after them.
It's not right.
The thief left some hatchets behind, so you and the 3 chumps left start chopping cane. It's brutal work. None of you know what you're doing.
Keep going.
The girl calls. Her hands are bleeding, and her face is bright with sweat. Soon, her cane is piled high. Sometime after noon, the truck rolls up with a boozy foreman riding shotgun. Good work, he croaks. The girl wipes her blood-pinked hands on her apron to take her pay, but doesn't notice the crumpled body in the back of the truck, or the hatchets heaped beside it.
They're the ones
The blistering sun has scared even birds into the shade. But a middle-aged woman and a young couple are still collecting scraps of cotton that the machinery missed. With a ragged voice, the older woman calls to you. Got any water? The three of them rush over to you, suddenly reanimated. They pass around your canteen. When you get it back, it's empty. The woman squeezes your hand and sighs with relief. Sweetest thing I ever tasted, she tells you. You rest in a field where a well-dressed stranger talks your ear off on all manner of subjects. The weather, fireflies in summer, how combine harvesters work. After a while, the mood shifts.
Heard my death bones this morning. Death bones. Heard 'em rattle like clank, clink, clank. More startling than wind chimes in a tornado.
He plucks dry grass and chews on a piece.
Ain't much time left now. That don't matter. I'm fine. Got my savior waiting at the pearly gates.
The man shifts uncomfortably.
At least I do as of this afternoon, I hope. Nearly knocked the pastor's door down earlier. Sure was good to meet you.
The man pauses, rubs his chin in contemplation.
Don't let the bedbugs bite.
He walks off slow. After his silhouette becomes small in the horizon, but before he vanishes, you see him collapse to the ground.
Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole. I'm gonna cast my stone.
He sings as he works, his voice warm and soft as the late afternoon sun. The air's sweet with the tang of recently cut sugar cane. There's a practiced, almost soothing precision to the way he works. He looks up and nods hello. Making molasses, he says to your unasked question. I sell the blackstripe in town. Farmers use it for feed. Bitter as hell. He grins. Got some set aside. He comes back with a murky flask, waving off any offer of payment. I ain't charging. Folks around here need what they can get. Makes a mean loaf of bread. He nods at the barrels. I'm about done filtering. Got to boil it next. Lend a hand? You help him haul the barrels over to the metal boiler. You pour in the juice and set the fire. It's hot work. He fetches water and dark bread, and you share the small meal and a smile. It's good to find another who takes joy in honest labor. You find yourself in a poker game on the third floor of the Weinkauf Hotel. Sometimes these things just happen. The man with the burned face to your left, he never gave his name, growls at the smiling man seated on your right. You ain't got the stomach. I killed men for lessons in that pot. Smiler plays on and takes the hand. The burned man bares his teeth. This hand comes down to the burned man and Smiler. Walk away, boy, says the burned man. Smiler drops his grin. Ain't your boy, Roy. Roy's eye twitches. Smiler outplays Roy again, and a new hand comes around. You've got an okay hand. Not a world beater, but not nothing. For a moment, you think you have it. But Smiler calls and you're outclassed. Roy's preoccupied and has to be nudged into dealing. You finally hit a decent hand. Roy is still staring at Smiler. What'd you say your name was?
I didn't, but it's Jackson.
Jackson, repeats Roy. I knew a Jackson once. There's a fierce look in Roy's eye. You played it just right. You take the hand and the lion's share of the chips on the table. Smiler cusses. Roy cashes out and slips away. You play a few more rounds, but that hand practically sewed up the game. As you leave the hotel, you smell smoke. You cross the street and look up. Flames have engulfed the third floor, where you played the game. The fire spreads hungrily. People are leaning out of windows on the floors above, but you can't see any way to help. The lightning starts in the next valley over. Then the wind picks up. The long grass hisses, and suddenly it's raining so hard you can barely breathe without a hand over your mouth. The lightning momentarily illuminates a farmhouse on the opposite hilltop, the only one for miles. Much closer, though, is a silhouette of a dilapidated barn. You pound and pound on the door of the house, but you only get confused shouts from inside. Soon, you give up and head to the unlocked shed, where the empty wood bin makes a good enough bed. In the morning, you're woken suddenly by the sound of clattering china. A tiny old woman bends over you, silently offering you coffee. She serves you half the pot before she lets you get up and leave for the morning.
But its power I will deny. Won't heed temptation. Just walk on by. Oh, yeah.
The woman finds you as you wander the streets. Come with me, child, she says, looking you up and down. We're going to church. You follow her to a simple clapboard building. There's no steeple, but a cross is painted on one side. Inside, after a rousing sermon, you're treated to a meal and given a worn but clean set of clothes. Works and not faith alone might be the motto of this place.
We gon' tear it down. You better grab it for one love. Tear it down. We gonna drive the hurting heart again with a wild and
You pass a meadow where migrants have made a campsite. It's been trampled to pieces. A few families are fleeing, running as fast as they can back up to the roadside. An enormous bull stretches himself beside some of their squashed supplies. You inch close, and the bull charges. You sprint blindly through the high grass and trip hard into a sunken stream bed, dropping everything you own into the rocky shallows. The bull paces on the bank like a victorious general until you're sufficiently humbled. Then it saunters into the high grass.
I take a look at you, figure we're heading to the same place. You've been walking a long time, same as me, trying to find where you fit. You ever wonder if that place don't exist? No shame in it, I do. Plenty of time I wonder if I'll just walk forever. You start to wonder, how did I get here? When you're alone, all you have is all this time. Time to trace the lines back to where things started. But tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen out there so far? Damn, that's one surprising tale. Stories about traveler. Well, good, I suppose. When I first pick up a mood, it weren't by choice. It had me in shadows. You know any good scary stories? Or see something spooky on your way? Well, you're good at telling these. There's some sadness out there. Things get took from you. You realize that things get took from you. You ain't never owned them in the first place. That's a dark place. You got any good happy stories where things work out for someone, maybe? Good to hear a story that's more happy than the world really is. Nice to escape. Family. Sharecroppers Union told me they were like a family. You ever get in a firefight for your brothers and sisters? But anyway, you know any good true tragedies? I feel like one of those tonight. I hear you. Changed. When I was a young man, it took a while for me to accept that all things changed. When I did, I leaned into it hard. Sometimes you need to salt the earth to get where you need to go. You know any good jokes? Funny tales? Well, I wish the world were like that, but it ain't. A story about happy people, something that's mine. Isn't that what a man always wants? A home, you might call it. 40 acres and a mule. Here's the sun. I got to get going. My route goes up this way, but I sure did enjoy talking to you. It's probably the kind of story you've heard a million times. Down on your luck, need work, take whatever you can get. How about you? Does my life sound familiar?